Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachitupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Va Kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanamamalam prema pumartho mahat. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhur tatradarana para. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Here's Shilpa Mataji, Shruva Mataji, Ruby Mataji, Varun Prabhu, and Baldev Siva Prabhu. Thank you for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 27, the Govardhan Hill pastime, towards the end of, or the last of these chapters. The beautiful hill, Hantayam Adari, Abala Haridasa Varyo, Yadrama Krishna Charanas Parasha Pramoda, Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayoryat, Pani Yasu Yevasa Kandara Kandamulai. That beautiful Govardhan hill, which was in ecstasy by the touch of Lord Balram and Krishna's lotus feet, and offering soft grasses, water, and caves, and then flowers, fruits, whatnot. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, everything. So here we are talking about Indra. Indra has come to beg for forgiveness. Lord Krishna arranged for a solitary place, and we discussed that in great detail, that the feedback must be given as per time, place, situation, good intent, good relationship. One devotee was sharing about the 3 F's in parenting, or feedback, you can say. You should be fair, firm, and friend. I really like that point. Recently I heard. Fair, firm also, right? Where Chaitanya Prabhu explains it in a different way, bonds and boundaries. There are some boundaries or firmness, but there is a bond also, that friendship, right? So that friendship ties to the bond, the boundaries tied to the being firm, and fair also, like, so I was somehow not able to recollect that yesterday, but it clicked in my mind today, so thought to share. So let's begin with text 5, where we paused yesterday. Kuto nu tadheta isha tatkrita lobhadyo ye abudha linga bhavaha tathapi dandam bhagavan vibharti dharmasya gupta ye khalan nigrahaya. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. How then could there exist in you symptoms of an ignorant person, such as greed, lust, anger, and envy, which are produced by one's previous involvement in material existence, and which cause one to become further entangled in material existence? And yet, as the Supreme Lord, you impose punishment to protect religious principles and curb down the wicked. Purport. The complex philosophical statement by Indra may be analyzed as follows. In the first line of this verse, Indra refers to the main idea expressed at the end of the previous verse, namely, that the great currents of material existence, which are based on ignorance, cannot possibly exist within the Supreme Lord. The words tad hetavaha and tat kritaha indicate that something causes the modes of nature to manifest, and that they in turn become the cause of that which caused them. In second line of this verse, we find that in this, it is the material feelings such as greed, lust, envy, and anger that cause the modes of nature to manifest and are themselves caused by the material modes of nature. The explanation of this seemingly paradox is as follows. When the conditioned soul decides to associate with the material qualities, he becomes contaminated by those qualities. As stated in the Gita 13.22, Karanam guno sangosya sad asad yoni janmashu. For example, in the presence of a seductive woman, a man may give in to his lower instincts and try to enjoy sex with her. But his deciding to associate with the lower qualities of nature, those qualities manifest in him very powerfully. He is overwhelmed with lust and driven to try again and again to satisfy his burning desire. Because his mind has been infected by lust, all that he does, thinks, and speaks will be influenced by his strong attachment to sex. In other words, by choosing to associate with the lusty qualities of nature, he has caused them to powerfully manifest within himself. And eventually, those lusty qualities themselves will cause him to accept another body suitable for affairs governed by those qualities. Quite complex, but we'll try to simplify, if Kṛṣṇa willing. The lower qualities such as lust, greed, anger, envy are abuddha linga bhava, symptoms of ignorance. Indeed, as indicated by Srila Swami in his commentary, the manifestation of the modes of nature is synonymous with the manifestation of a particular body. It is clearly explained throughout the Vedic literature that the conditioned soul receives a particular body, gives it up, and then accepts another simply because of his involvement with the modes of nature. Karanam guno sangosya. Thus, to say that one is participating in the modes of nature is to say that one is accepting particular types of bodies suitable for the particular material qualities one is involved with. An ignorant bystander might have simplistically interpreted Krishna's pastime of lifting Govardhan hill as follows. The residents of Vrindavan were obliged by Vedic principles to make certain offerings of to the god of heaven, Indra. Child Kṛṣṇa, ignoring the position of Indra, usurped these offerings and took them for his own pleasure. When Indra tried to punish Kṛṣṇa and his associates, the Lord frustrated Indra's attempt, humiliated him, and exhausted his pride and resources. But this is superficial interpretation is refuted in this verse. Here, the Lord Indra addresses Sri Kṛṣṇa as Bhagavan, indicating that he is not an ordinary child, but in fact God. Therefore, Krishna's punishing Indra was part of his mission of protecting religious principles and curbing down the envious. It was not a display of material anger or of greed for the offerings meant for Indra. Sri Kṛṣṇa is pure spiritual existence, and his simple, sublime desire is to engage all living beings in the perfect, blissful life of Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So beautiful line. What is What is his desire? To engage all living beings in the perfect blissful life of Krishna consciousness. That's Krishna's desire. So if we are being Krishna conscious, we're fulfilling Krishna's desire. Krishna's desire to make us Krishna conscious is not egotistical. Hey, worship me because I'm great. No. Since ultimately Krishna is everything and Krishna consciousness is objectively the best consciousness, Lord Indra is really the humble servant of Krishna, a fact he is now beginning to remember. Hare Krishna. So, pretty detailed. And the point here was made. I'll try to use my whiteboard. So Prabhupada disciples are sharing the example of imagine a person is there, right? So there's a person, he has those three modes: goodness, passion, ignorance, right? But when the environment, around, when the environment around is whatever that environment, the person, so let's say is as the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Primarily in conditioned soul, living being, the passion and ignorance are dormant, are very active and dominating, not dormant, but dominating. And goodness is little. So Prabhupada gives the example of lust here, that lust is there. And when in the unfavorable environment, let's say one go to a nightclub and an association of, inappropriate opposite sex, then naturally his or her propensity to engage in those lower self will be awakened. Therefore, Sangha is very powerful. Sangha is very, very powerful. Even though one may be a practicing devotee, what to speak of, even one may be a very, very exemplary devotee, still one has to watch very carefully one's Sangha. Lord Chaitanya was very mindful. Oh, I don't want to associate with women, right? Not because he hated women, but because he was showing by his example that a sannyasi should not closely associate with women. And not just women, also with Prataprotra Maharaj, we discussed that story multiple times. Because king means opulence, king means, so much, opulence, name, fame, kingdom, money, wealth, jewels. So if we associate with those people, then we will develop those qualities. So Lord Chaitanya is showing. So what happens? So basically, in this body, then one is paving the next body, right? One is too much into opposite sex. Okay, Krishna says, okay, you want to have too much relationship with opposite sex. Okay, you become pigeon or pig or pigeon. Pigeon are known to, they have relationships with hundreds of times a day, or monkeys, right? Similarly, one is too much in ignorance. Okay, we might be paving sleeping 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. Oh, you like to sleep a lot. Okay, paving the next body, become polar bear, sleep for 6 months, So we are, as mentioned here, even in this life, we are paving the way for next life. But it's not true for Krishna. He is Shanta, the word yesterday we used, or Indra used to glorify Krishna, Shanta. And what does Shanta means? Shanta means peaceful, but in here, it means changeless. Prabhupada is quoting a verse here. It's a very, very important verse. It's because Vishika Prabhu quotes this many, many times, and Prabhupada quoted it many, many times. Let's read this verse, which is quite relevant here. Anyone would like to read this from Bhagavad Gita?
Prabhuji, I'll try, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, devotees done from Bhagavad Gita 13.22. Purusa prakritis stho hi te prakriti jana gunan karanam guna sangosya sad asad yoni janmasu. Sad asad yoni janmasu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with the material nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Put also, Prabhuji? Okay.
Sure.
This verse is very important for an understanding on how the living entities transmigrate from one body to another. It explains in the second chapter that the living entity is transmigrating from one body to another, just as one changes the dress. This change of dress is due to his attachment to material existence. As long as he is captivated by this false manifestation, he has to continue transmigrating from one body to another. Due to his desire to lord it over material nature, his desire to lord it over material nature, he is put into such undesirable circumstances. Under the influence of material desire, the entity is born sometimes as a demigod, sometimes a man, sometimes as a beast, as a bird or as a worm, as an aquatic, as a saintly man, as a bug. This is going on, and in all cases, the living entity thinks himself to be the master of his circumstances, yet he is under the influence of material nature. How he is put into such different bodies is explained here. It is due to association with the different modes of nature. One has to rise, therefore, above three material modes and become situated in the transcendental position. This is called Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Unless one is situated in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, his material consciousness will oblige him to transfer from one body to another, because he has material desires since time immemorial. But he has to change the conception. That change can be effected only by hearing from authoritative sources. The best example is here. Arjuna is hearing the signs of God from Kṛṣṇa. The living entity, if he submits to his hearing process, will lose his long cherished desire to dominate material nature, and gradually and proportionately, as he reduces his long desire to dominate, he comes to enjoy spiritual happiness. In a Vedic mantra, it is said that as he becomes learned in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he proportionately relishes his eternal blissful life. Hari Bol, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think this makes it even more clear, right? That how, as we were discussing this topic, based on the choices and the association we keep, the dormant qualities or the sleeping qualities will be awakened, whether it's goodness, passion, ignorance. But even these three are three shackles: gold shackles, silver shackles, and iron shackles. Is it not? So what we have to do? We have to imagine we are in this circle. Consider it as a circle. We are here. And this is the circle of material life, right? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. And this is H is for human form. There are many, many forms in this circle. Cat, dog, lion, fishes, aquatics, birds, beasts, reptiles, trees, whatnot. So 8.4 million. Like that, we keep oscillating. But this human life is very special. In this, either we have a chance to keep circling back, or there is a path which only starts from this point, and that goes back home, back to Godhead. It's not possible. This path doesn't go from here, from trees, reptiles. It's only in this life we get this chance. And that's what Kṛṣṇa really wants us, as we discussed. That's Kṛṣṇa's desire. And that's we discuss in the purport as well. So we have a choice, so we must make that choice. We must make the right choice. And if we fail to do so, we'll continue in this cycle. So intelligent person makes a right choice for his own good, as mentioned here. Right? It's not that Kṛṣṇa is egotistical. That serve me because I want everyone to serve me. No, it's because for our own good. Nate vidusvartikatim he Vishnu, Prahlad Maharaj says. What is real swartha? What is real swartha is to take shelter of Lord Vishnu or Kṛṣṇa for our own good. So Indra is reminding us all these things, and also that Kṛṣṇa is not an ordinary boy here who felt bad, but he's a Supreme Lord. Okay, any other thoughts, comments before we move to the next? Let's read the next verse. Text 6. Anyone wants to read?
I can read.
Yes, please.
Pitas guru tvam jagatam adisho duratya kala upatta danda ita ye checha tanu bi samhisha se manam vidun swam jagatisham maninam. Translation: You are the father and spiritual master of this entire universe and also supreme controller. You are insurmountable time imposing punishment upon the sinful for their own benefit. Indeed, in your various incarnations selected by your own free will, you act decisively to remove the false pride of those who presume themselves master of this world. Purport: the word Hitaya is significant here. Lord Kṛṣṇa protects the religion and chastises the wicked for benefit of the entire universe. Foolish and faithless pseudo-priests criticize God for punishing the living entity through the action of nature. But whether Lord Kṛṣṇa punishes them indirectly through nature or directly in his incarnation, as mentioned here, he has perfect right to do so because he is a father, spiritual master, supreme ruler of the entire universe. Another way, he curbs down the false attempts of conditioned soul to establish the kingdom of God without God is through his feature as insurmountable time. It is said, spare the rod and spoil the child. That is fact. And it's actually the Lord's mercy that he takes the trouble to rectify our misbehavior. Although faithless person criticize the Lord fatherly vigilance.
Any comments, Prabhu?
Yeah, Eric, so I think that's what a lot of people ask questions that why, why Lord, there's something happening to the people. And so it's something, chastise them, on with respect to, it's kind of like as a father, they may, Krishna is doing, it's whether indirectly he may be doing, or maybe through incarnation. So it is something as a father, if the child, they do any mistake, they correct it. Similar way, Krishna as a supreme father, that is what he is doing. And some ignorant people, they think in different way why Krishna is punishing them. That's what I understand.
Very nice. Thank you. Like a father will not like the child to develop ego, right? If the child thinks, hey, father, what are you doing? I'm the one running the house. I'm the one who is doing everything, right? Or if someone, let's say the friend comes to the house and the son showing, oh, don't touch that, this is very expensive, this is this is the father will want to and should teach a lesson to the child who is thinking everything as his and forgetting whom it really belongs to. Therefore, Krishna is Pita. Pita comes in Bhagavad Gita also. Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitra omkara riksamaya jurivacha. So here we see Pita is the Pita, is the Guru. Tvam jagatam, of whom? Of the entire universe. Is Jagannath. Because, we may be the father or guru for one person, two people, 5, 10, right? But Krishna, he is the Pita for the demons also. Therefore, he punishes them by killing them. Because he's their well-wisher. So it may sound weird to us, but the word here used is Pita, is Guru of whole Jagat. Adhish is the supreme controller. Hitaya. Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmane Hitaya Cha. Hitaya. Hitkari Hit. Hit means benefit. He's the one who is thinking for everyone's benefit. Not just one person, not just two, everyone's benefit. And by his own Ichcha, Tanu he takes different forms. Tanu means form. Like Narsingadev, like Kurma, Para, Matsya, etc., etc. For different reasons. To kill the demoniac, to protect the divine, the devotees, to re-establish the principles of dharma. He may take different forms. So Indra is now glorifying that he is very cognizant. You act to remove the false pride of those who presume themselves the master of this world. And that actually applies to all of us here. If we are honest with ourselves, we will know how, man proposes and God disposes, how our false pride is crushed at every moment. We may make big plans and big this and that, and suddenly it will be like all. We may have big plans. Oh, I want to be a multi-millionaire, billionaire. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that, But one this bomb may drop, wars are going everywhere in the world, or hurricane, or this or that. Where will all the plans go? Where will all our plans go? Nowhere. So life is so fickle. So in short, Kṛṣṇa is there to help us come back to our true senses, back to the blissful Kṛṣṇa conscious environment. And the earlier, the sooner we understand, the better it will be for us. The more we delay, the more our time is wrapping up and the opportunity we may lose. Any thoughts, comments? Anyone has any additions here?
So, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it is not our past actions make us suffer. Actually, God is here like He's Shamo. What is the nice word? Samobhuto, Samohang Sarvabhuteshu. So this is our past deed we do. He is Supreme Father still, but He doesn't want us. He doesn't want us to suffer, but it's our past deeds that makes us suffer.
Yes, but ultimately, who sanctions that? Maya or Krishna's Durga Shakti, external energy, gives us the fruit, but ultimately they are all representatives. So he is the Updrishta Anumanta Cha. Without his sanction, nothing can work. So he is sanctioning. And therefore, if we do bhakti, karmani nirdheti kintu cha bhakti bhajam, all the past karma will be destroyed. That's also there. We may have done lot of yani kani cha papani brahmatyadi kani cha tani pranashyanti pradakshina pade pade. Even brahmatya pap can be destroyed. So yes, if we don't take to Kṛṣṇa consciousness through the laws of Kṛṣṇa, we will get punishment. Ultimately, he is the supreme sanctioner. He's not minutely like the Prime Minister has made the laws, but it's not the Prime Minister is punishing everyone. He's going to every jail and whipping every criminal. His system is working. So Krishna's system is working in his sanction. But sometimes Prime Minister or President could use their special veto powers, what powers, I don't know. And they say, okay, this, release him. Because he is behaving good. Whatever his past quota, well, I sign clear. That's Krishna. He can do that if we show that sincerity. Like one devotee, when Prabhupada came to US, he was, he was involved in drugs and all. And so as a result, police caught him. But in those few months after the police caught him, he became a devotee. So now he's a devotee. He stopped those things few months back. Now he's a devotee, nice devotee, practicing nicely. And then, but again, still he was caught because of the previous things he had done. And then he approached Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I have to go to jail. So Prabhupada said, okay, don't worry, Kṛṣṇa was also born in jail. He said, give him some encouragement. And then he said, Prabhupada, no, not in that way. I was involved with drugs. He said, drugs? Oh, I was also involved with drugs. I had a pharmacy, So he had to go. But because of his refined act, he said, the austerities you are doing every day, getting up at 4 o'clock, doing Mangalarti, doing chanting, doing this, reading Gita, etc. What better so they released him after a very short time. This is Krishna's arrangement. So all the previous karma also can be nullified. If not, if we don't take to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, then we'll keep oscillating in that cycle and keep Kṛṣṇa condenses the karmic account to like a drop. If we were supposed to get a very bad disease, we may just get like a paper cut. So this is Krishna consciousness. So yes, it is working. Everything is happening by Krishna's sanction, but Krishna can intervene and, right. Is that aligned, Prabhu, with your...
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah. So there's another nice pastime with Prabhupada, Prabhuji. Probably most of the devotees knows that one thief, he's in the jail, American thief. And he saw by some pictures that Prabhupada's picture and has a gold that watch, right? So he's thinking to steal that. And he broke the jail and police ran after him, but he saw the Hoinam Sankirtan going on and he went inside and started Sankirtan. So police could not caught him. And with the Sankirtan team, he came to the temple. And out of fear, he's not coming out of the temple. And he stayed for a few months. And then he said that president of the temple that I want to be devotee, but this is my past karma. And then he said, no, you have to sign that to the police. And then you purify and come back. So he signed to the police and he was taken to the court. And then the judge asking, what we're doing in the temple? Oh, that's a horrific story. Waking up 4 o'clock, then to the japa, Mongol Arti, Bhagavatam class, then some prasadam, then go for the book distribution, coming back, again some khichdi prasadam, and again, same day, again and again. Then the judge said, you already have enough punishment. You are released. Go back. So yes, truly, that can happen.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that beautiful pastime. Another like a parenting lesson here, Krishna is sharing here. As you were discussing yesterday, there are 3 styles. One is like an autocrat or like a dictatorship kind of thing. What I say is right, you have to do it, forget anything else. And one is the other extreme. One is permissive. Okay, whatever you want, you'll get it. But the good style is more like a kind of discussing, especially in this day and age, right? To involve, to engage. And it ties with the same bonds and boundaries. So boundaries. Often people focus this more on the bonds. Okay, pamper the child, give whatever. But there is an age, as Chanakya Pandit says, till 5 years, they don't know what's right, what's wrong, right? But that 5 to 10, 15 years is the age to be more firm and kind of, as even Lord Chaitanya was chastised by his father Jagannath Mishra. Even Mata Yashoda who held the rod, the month is coming, right? The churning rod. She was running after with the stick. Spare the rod, spoil the child. So she didn't want Krishna to be spoiled. So she didn't leave the rod. So, of course, she didn't hit the rod. Krishna black and blue. He's already black and blue. But I've seen some people like hit the children like black and blue. That's also not very healthy. We should, as we discussed, when we are angry, then we can't use anger, right? When we are angry, we can't use anger. If we have to use anger, then we have to not be in anger. If we are angry, we are under the modes of anger, passion, ignorance, then how can we, because utilizing anger needs a lot of goodness in a controlled way, like Hanuman used to burn Lanka, but not burn the Ashok Vatika where Sita is. It's very delicate because he has to burn the Lanka in such a controlled way, but not burn Ashok Vatika. Isn't that beautiful? So, but if we just have that uncontrolled outburst of emotions and angers and what we're speaking, how we are speaking, what we are doing, holding stick, breaking TV and throwing stuff, then even the Ashok Vatika may get burned. Right? even so nothing good comes out. In short, nothing good comes out from that. Any other thoughts? Okay, let's move on to the next verse. Text 7. Anyone wants to read this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I can read. Text number 7. Emad vidhakna jagati samaninas tvam viksha kale abhayam asutan madam hitvarya margam prabhajate apasamya iha kalinam apite anusasanam. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Even fools like me who proudly think themselves universal lords quickly give up their consent and directly take to the path of spirituality, progressive when they see you are fearless even in the face of time. Thus, you punish the mischievous only to instruct them. Perfect. History is filled with examples of supreme authority breaking the consent of foolish men. Modern world leaders proudly fight one another, placing the common people in unprecedented jeopardy. Similarly, Indra, proud of his apparently illustrious position, dared to threaten the lives of innocent residents of Vrindavana with terrible weapons until his arrogance was curbed by the demonic response of the Supreme Lord. Nowadays, government in Western countries tend to elect democratically, and thus the mass of people become identified with the destiny of leaders. When the proud leaders engage in violence, the people who elected them bear the brunt of such belligerent decisions. Thus, the people of democratic nations of the world should elect Kṛṣṇa consciousness leaders who will establish an administration constant to the laws of God. If they fail to do so, their materialistic leaders, obvious of the will of the Supreme Lord, will undoubtedly be chastised by cataclysm events, and the people who elect such leaders, being responsible for their leaders' act, will share in the suffering. It is ironic that in modern democracies, not only do the leaders consider themselves universal controllers, but the mass of people, considering leaders merely their representatives rather than the representatives of gods, also consider themselves as the people to be the controllers of their nation. Thus, the chastisement mentioned in the verse has become unprecedentedly applicable to the people in general in the modern world. Modern man should not simply make himself a lesson of nature by falling down from his proud position. Rather, he should submissively execute the will of all the attractive personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, Sri Kṛṣṇa, the usher of the new era of sanity, tranquility, and widespread enlightenment. Haribol, Prabhuji. Wonderful verse and beautiful translation by Srila Prabhupada. It is aptly, what we can see, as you rightly mentioned, in this day and age, the so-called leaders put, the people in jeopardy. Like, we have seen, in the news, the war is going on, somebody launched, rockets and they fled, all the millions of people are getting burnt. So, Prabhuji, if they are, in Krishna consciousness, this is Vasudeva Kutumbam, Sanatana Dharma. If we can see the Lord between us in each and every soul, then this world will be very peaceful, Prabhuji. That's my understanding. Please help. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, so there's some bad connection maybe. So here this verse ties very well to the current situation going on in the world. Nations are fighting some are fighting very, like from months and years. And what's happening? Innocent public is getting burned, harmed, so much loss of property, so much loss of life, so much loss of other species of animals, etc. So why? False pride. I am better, my country is better, my religion is better, or my language is better. It's all an outcome of false pride, false ego. That I am better. But Krishna consciousness teaches us totally opposite. Ego leads to wars. Ego leads to fight. Ego leads to anger, conceit, envy, fanatism. And these wars are nothing but just an outcome of those. No one wants to bend down. It is said that the person laden with saintly qualities and the fruit laden with the tree laden with fruits bend down. But those who don't bend down, they are like when the waves and the strong currents of the wind come, they are destroyed. So pride comes before the fall, and therefore we see those nations or those leaders. It's just a matter of time that the whole country is disturbed. But what's Prabhupada encouraging? If we submissively execute the will of the Lord, what's the duty of the child? To execute the will of the Father. And here our Krishna, our Parampita, his will is to take his shelter, right? That will lead to sanity, tranquility, and widespread enlightenment. These days, there is totally opposite. Widespread chaos and friction, fights, egoism. And that's why that's why Prabhupada came to the West. There are big United Nations and World Peace Organization, World Health. So many organizations are there, but ultimately, without Krishna consciousness, nothing will work out. Because Krishna consciousness treats the problem from the root cause. Vidya vine sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni cheva shopakecha pandita samadarshinaha. As Subala Prabhu was sharing, until we see the whole world as a family, that everyone is a child of God, universal brotherhood, how will it come? Not just forming organizations. And nations are fighting, people are fighting on the basis of skin, on the basis of religion, on the basis of color, on the basis of rich and poor. And it's not that, they are illiterate. It's not that they're poor, but the ego is so strong. This whole chapter is basically talking about ego and how to purify that in different ways. So, Krishna consciousness leads to happiness. Maya consciousness, Maya das, udas, Krishna das, bindas. Any other thoughts, comments anyone has? Okay. Any other questions, comments, additions before we wrap up for today? You would like to add anything or share anything? Okay, then I guess we will pause here and continue from the next verse tomorrow. Is that fair?